bluegrass state, as well as for its bourbon distilleries. But what you might not know is also known for Browning and Beretta, which are two major gun industries. When you think about guns, you might associate it with a place like Texas or somewhere more rural. But in all actuality, as of in 2012, Daily Caller says that Kentucky was the number one in gun sales with 2,589,358 guns sold. This number is calculated using the National Instant Background Check, which they use that because they don't register the guns, keep account of how many guns are registered and bought and sold. Instead, they use the number, they calculate it by using the background checks that are used to buy. So this number right here could be up or higher or lower because you can buy up to 3 guns off of one background check. But the background check can also be denied. Being a resident and a young adult in Kentucky, you should know the laws in which you're in the state you're living. In 2012, the population in Kentucky was 4,380,415. If you divide that by 2, you get 2,190,207.5. With the gun sales at 2,589,358, that means that as of last year, over half of the people in Kentucky had bought a gun. In growing up around guns, you should know, I've learned a lot of things about them, and so I decided to look into them, especially with the gun laws being under scrutinized by the government. And I'm here to inform you of the gun laws that are highly enforced. The most basic is firearm purchase. LegallyArmed.com says that you cannot sell to a felon. This is anyone who has had a background in assaults, DUIs, or terroristic comments. To counteract this, you do a background check, and if you fail to do so, it is a Class A misdemeanor. So even if you buy a gun from someone, you need to have a background check ran on them, because if they get caught with the gun and it's not registered, then you can go to jail also for selling them the gun. A lot of people worry about, especially with the guns being under scrutinized, that if a government can come in and take your guns. And the law states that no one, as long as you bought the gun legally and are using it legally, they cannot take it from you. And when you have a gun, you might want to be able to carry your concealed, but you must have a permit to do so. According to okay, this isn't working. Okay. According to civilliberty.com, it takes 6 months to be able to you must be a Kentucky resident for 6 months unless you are an active military duty stationed in Kentucky. You must have a permit, and the application to apply for it is $60. But before you can apply, you must go through the training. The KCCC, which is Kentucky Concealed Carry Coalition, KCC, which is Kentucky Concealed Carry Coalition, which is the organization which you can go through to get your concealed, states that the instructor can charge up to $75 for the instruction. At first, you have to watch a video, which is 2 hours long, which they go over just the basics you need with a gun, and then you have to do the instruction by the teacher, which goes over safety, marksmanship, and gun functioning. And then you take a written test, which goes over everything that you've learned during the class. Then you do your target practicing, which makes sure you can aim at whatever you're shooting at. And once they are satisfied with that, he or she, which is the gun instructor, will take you to clean your gun. And once you clean your gun and it fits their satisfactory, then you can pass and you can go for you can apply. Whenever the Castle Doctrine states that you can use your gun as long as somebody is acting upon you, you can meet physical force with physical force. JournalNewsKentucky.com states that this is based off an old English law, so that anyone who comes to assault you, rob you, affects your family or yourself, you can act upon them. But this does not keep you from a civil lawsuit. Therefore, if you do meet physical force with physical force, it will be determined by the courts if it was lawful or not. In conclusion, Kentucky was the highest state last year to have guns sold. Over half of everyone in Kentucky bought a gun as of last year. You must be able to pass an application and a course to therefore determine if you can get a concealed weapon. Then, if you want to use your concealed weapon, it takes the Castle Doctrine, which proposes it. So, all in conclusion, always treat somebody like you don't want to get shot.
Hemp, bud, shake, ganja, chronic. I'm not crazy, I promise, and I'm not speaking gibberish. These are all names for a plant called marijuana. Marijuana is the most commonly used drug in the world. It is estimated somewhere between 119 million and 224 million adults smoke this daily, according to a June 2012 Time magazine article. Now, I'm almost positive that everyone in this room has heard about marijuana or encountered it on some level. I'm not saying you guys have smoked it, but I'm just saying you've seen someone possibly or smelled it maybe. That is why I want to take a few moments of your time to inform you about this leafy plant. How marijuana works. Marijuana can be consumed orally or smoked. It contains an active ingredient called delta-9 tetrahydrocannabinol, or THC for short. Basically, what this ingredient does is it acts on nerve centers in your brain related to pleasure, memory, thought, concentration, and movement. And obviously, the side effects of marijuana are related to the pleasure centers that this ingredient acts upon. Now, a little bit of the history. Cannabis was first introduced by the Chinese in 2787 BC by Chinese Emperor Shang Nung, according to Narconon International. The medicinal value was valued above the intoxicating properties, but they did make note of the intoxicating side effects. In 1545, the Spanish brought the drug to the New World, and it became a huge commercial crop. So big that it became listed in the U.S. Pharmacopoeia, which is it's like a listing of the drugs and medicinal practices that you can use to treat diseases. And marijuana was used to treat labor pains and nausea, just minor side effects. And that was listed from 1850 to 1942. It got taken out in 1942. Recreational use continued until 1970, when the Controlled Substance Act was enacted. In this act, marijuana was classified as having the highest abuse potential, and it had no accepted medical use whatsoever. After this act was put into effect, the use of it declined until about the 1990s, when teenagers brought it back into the spotlight. And I'm sure you've seen in the news, states such as California, Washington, Colorado have enacted, they have legalized marijuana use. And this map shows statewide what marijuana, where it's legalized, where it's not. The blue shows states with legal medical cannabis. The reddish oranges shows decriminalized cannabis possession laws, which just means the possession limits are like you can carry more, like the fines and punishments aren't as harsh if you're caught with marijuana. And then the purple shows states with both. You can legally smoke marijuana, medical marijuana, and the penalties are not as high for criminalization. Some of the harmful effects of marijuana. According to defense.gov, lungs, mouth, eyes, and immune system are mostly affected. The lungs, you get bronchitis, emphysema, coughing, wheezing, side effects of smoking, obviously. In the mouth, you have dryness in the mouth, and you actually have trouble speaking sometimes, and coordination and frequent hunger are associated with marijuana. Reddening of the eyes, and then the immune system is suppressed, which makes you more likely to contract other illnesses from smoking marijuana. Some beneficial effects. The American Association for Cancer Research has stated that marijuana slows tumor growth. It is a muscle relaxant, so this would help with seizures. And in California, there were 300,000 reported migraines that were cured with medical cannabis. Also, not a single study disproves marijuana helpfulness with glaucoma. So no study ever reported has disproved marijuana's help with glaucoma. In conclusion, I hope that I showed I'm not some blubbering idiot and you learned something today. Marijuana has both beneficial and harmful effects and is both legal and illegal depending on the state. However, it is a personal choice, so I hope this presentation gave you some information to make your decision. Thank you.